alone within 24 hours. It was already publicly available information, and it was a roadmap. So it may have colored what was already being said, what was already being alleged, and it could have come from any of a number of sources, including.
One of the things I heard also that Diddy has a lot of insurances and all kinds of other companies and people on the board of different companies. And long story short, he had no choice. It wasn't his choice. It was some of the companies and the insurance policies saying that we're going to settle this. What is whether you like it or not. You too. How y'all doing, man? Hey, check this out. We did a half a echo. How about that? A lot of people don't like my echo, man. A lot of people say, keep the echo. So we do 50-50 every now and then. How about that? Hey, P. Diddy poisoned Jamie Foxx. Now, we all assume and we all think that it's 23.42 in Scotland. God dang. Good gracious, boy. I can't wait to make it to the Philippines, man. It's my birthday in 18 minutes. Well, happy birthday. Where you at, Helen J? Don't forget we live, y'all. Before we get started, go to the Music Recording Network. The Music Recording Network live. Y'all go put it in the search bar. You know you got to tell everybody this. Go to your search, hit the search button, and hit the Music Recording Network live. And hit enter. Once you hit enter, scroll down a little bit. Probably got to scroll down a little bit. You see the world with the word live written in red. That's our live channel. We're going to start pushing our live channel. And I'm going to start going live and doing more live and talking to people, and y'all can ask questions and all that type of stuff. We're going to have some interviews and everything. In the middle of the video, sometimes I might stop it because they up in there giving me a hard way to go. They always give me a hard way to go, y'all. So if you got any questions and anything that you want to say, it's best to catch me on the live side and everything. So without any further ado, man, let's check this bad boy.
Spending 2.5 months behind bars hasn't stopped the rumor mill from churning out new stories about P. Diddy. The latest, that the disgraced music icon is responsible for actor Jamie Foxx's mysterious hospitalization last year. New allegations say Diddy could have poisoned Jamie Foxx, and apparently Foxx is telling all in his upcoming Netflix special. But could there be any truth to these allegations? And if not, are we looking at a new defamation case? We'll break it all down with attorney Joe Richardson, who says the Diddy conversation is far from over. We're inching closer to the 3-month mark of Diddy calling the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn his home. And after last week's third bail denial, it seems like that's where Diddy will be staying, at least for the foreseeable future. He's being held there on federal charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Federal prosecutors allege Diddy was the mastermind in a sex trafficking scheme, with some reports saying his alleged illegal activity dates back to the early 90s. Diddy's accused of drugging dozens of victims, sexually assaulting them, and recording it as a means of blackmail to keep survivors quiet. But now those same recordings are being used against Diddy. They're even mentioned in the federal indictment against him. It seems that civil suits against Diddy are being filed weekly at this point, as more people continue to break their silence. And it seems that the latest person to call out Diddy is none other than Academy Award-winning actor Jamie Foxx. Foxx made headlines in April of last year when his daughter Corinne announced he was recovering in the hospital. But what exactly he was recovering from was a mystery. By May of 2023, Foxx was out of the hospital, recuperating at home after he was reportedly treated in a physical rehab facility in Chicago with a focus on strokes and brain injuries. Last summer, Foxx addressed his health issues for the first time, saying he'd been to, quote, hell and back. He explained only a bit more, saying he had a headache, then got an Advil from a friend. After that, Foxx said he was, quote, gone for 20 days.
Whoa,
he didn't appear in public until December of 2023 to accept a Critics' Choice Association Vanguard Award. Foxx still didn't say exactly what happened, but revealed he couldn't walk for a time during his recovery. Jump to this year when Foxx recorded his comedy special. It's called What Had Happened Was, and is supposed to premiere on Netflix. It was during a stand-up routine performance in Atlanta that Jamie Foxx taped this. That was back in October. Now, the special hasn't hasn't been released yet, so we aren't totally sure what he says, but according to some audience members who were there at the taping of this special, Foxx mentions his illness and connects it to P. Diddy. 3 separate audience members told Page 6 Jamie Foxx mentioned Diddy in the routine, blaming Diddy for his health issues. 2 audience members also spoke to the Daily Mail saying the same thing, adding that Jamie Foxx apparently contacted the FBI about P. Diddy. All of this was also discussed on an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. It's a long-form podcast that boasts more than 2,000 episodes and more than 18 million subscribers. On this particular episode, Joe Rogan spoke with his guests, Shane Gillis, Mark Normand, and Ari Schaefer, about Jamie Foxx and the allegations.
Okay.
We don't have the rights to the podcast's audio or video, so we can't show it to you, but here's what was said. Joe Rogan said, quote, Jamie Foxx just recently said that P. Diddy poisoned him, and that's why he got that stroke. He talked about it on stage. He talked about it on his Netflix special. Rogan went on to say, quote, bro, I think there was some crazy stuff going on. I think murders, alleged murders, a bunch of people got pneumonia, a bunch of convenient people died of pneumonia. Mark Normand also chimed in, saying, quote, Jamie Foxx said I didn't have a heart attack because of the vaccine. It was Diddy shutting me up. Here's where we're going to turn to attorney Joe Richardson to make sense of all of this. Joe, thanks for coming on with us today.
Good to see you once again.
So right from the jump, what do you make about these allegations that P. Diddy may have poisoned Jamie Foxx?
Where do you start? I mean, there's a lot of allegations surrounding what P. Diddy may have done because it seemed like a lot of people around him dying. Kim Porter died. I'll Be Sure almost died. You know, there's a lot being claimed. Andre Harrell died. So, you know, there's this backdrop of not only what he's dealing with criminally himself, but all of these other things that have happened with other people that have been around him. You know, coincidence certainly makes for interesting news, which is why we're talking about it. Jamie Foxx also said what he said during the filming of what is a comedy special. And so representatives have said, well, you know, he was just joking, etc. But he hasn't gone out of his way to say, hey, I was joking. This was not serious, you know, that kind of thing either. So you really don't know what to make of it other than the idea that this is just another allegation related to things around P. Diddy that have had health problems, if not died altogether. So there's some sensationalism to it, but there are some ironies, some coincidence, and you're not quite sure what to do with it.
All of this comes out of Jamie Foxx's upcoming Netflix special, and as you pointed out, it's obviously a comedy routine. He's being funny throughout all of it, but we don't know, as you said, whether he was joking about this or if it was more of a somber tone and he was being more serious. If that's the case, and he is being very serious and saying straight up, this is what happened, could he face any sort of liability for making these allegations against P. Diddy?
Yeah, I mean, sure, there's an argument that there could be defamation, right? Because, you know, defamation would be, in this case, maybe it'd even be defamation per se, because certain things, certain areas, some things that have to do with someone's profession, things that have to do with a couple of other areas, damages would actually be presumed. But the question becomes whether P. Diddy would really have that on the front of his queue, as it were, to deal with that. Because not only can Jamie Foxx maybe say it was a joke, but so can P. Diddy, right? And so that's probably the way to pass it off for now, particularly given he's got bigger fish to fry.
I'm wondering if it's the same situation for Joe Rogan too, because he brought this up on his podcast that has millions of people who watch it on YouTube or listen on their phones, wherever it may be. It's going out to a huge audience. And he actually throws around the word murder, says that P. Diddy may have murdered some people. Do you think it's kind of the same situation there? Oh, I could have just been joking and Diddy is dealing with other stuff?
I didn't hear how exactly Joe Rogan termed it, but when he says may have, you know what I mean? He's speculating. He's now a reporter, right? He's not necessarily a person that's saying this is what definitively happened and therefore we ought to connect to that. It does beg this larger issue, though. The Joe Rogans of the world, the Alex Jones, all these other folks that allege conspiracy theories and the extent to which this is damaging enough to actually create defamation causes of action. We saw how that went with Alex Jones. And so there's a question as to whether something would be out there that way. There's one question is how he terms it. The other question is, what Diddy actually does with it? Because once again, we're in a situation where he's got a whole lot of things he could be dealing with. And would he put this at the front, even if assuming there's some potential gray area? But most of the time, if damages isn't presumed, you got to demonstrate damage. Defamation is harder against people that are already famous. And he's already got a lot of things being said about him that aren't so good. And so there's a chance that this kind of gets lost in the fray along with everything else.
Hey, you watching our video. I'm going to take a guess and say you or someone you know is a business owner, maybe even.
At the end of the video, we're going to play the Joe Rogan video that they was referring to. I think it's the one they referring to.
Lost in the fray, because obviously what we're talking about is P. Diddy and his federal charges. That's the big one. I mean, that is why he's at MDC as we speak right now. So that's probably the thing that's looming over him most of all. And now we're getting allegations that Jamie Foxx says he was the one who contacted the police, the FBI, and kind of tipped them off before Diddy's investigation and his eventual arrest. What do you make of that allegation?
He can say that until he's blue in the face. But what the FBI, what got the FBI going is that Cassie case. That's what got the FBI going. They had, for whatever they might have been thinking about before, the Cassie case kind of brought it live and in living color, where they could really see how a criminal case could come together. Now, is it possible that Jamie Foxx or someone else contacted them, or that someone else that we don't know about that's famous got contacted by the police saying, or the FBI saying, we are looking at X or Y or Z, and what side would you be on it? Are you a potential defendant? Looks like you may be. Any or all of that stuff could have been going on. And there might have been some things where they were tipped off and some things that they saw to begin with based on their investigation. But I will still say that Cassie was the hook. A written out complaint that he settled based on the allegations alone within 24 hours. It was already publicly available information, and it was a roadmap. So it may have colored what was already being said, what was already being alleged, and it could have come from any of a number of sources, including.
One of the things I heard also that Diddy has a lot of insurances and all kinds of other companies and people on the board of different companies. And long story short, he had no choice. It wasn't his choice. It was some of the companies and the insurance policies saying that we're going to settle this, whether you like it or not. Diddy didn't want to settle because that's going to mean I was guilty. It's going to look like I'm guilty. No, we don't care what it looks like to you. We're going to settle because we got bigger fish to fry. So allegedly, maybe the insurance company or something, Diddy didn't want to settle. That's what I heard. But Cassidy ended up getting this settlement because the insurance and everybody else wanted this settlement to happen. That's what I heard.
Jamie Foxx, theoretically, so it may have colored what was already being said, what was already being alleged, and it could have come from any of a number of sources, including Jamie Foxx, theoretically. How do you express those things? How would you know these things unless you're there as well? Isn't there a possibility that maybe commonsensically, not even talking as a lawyer here, maybe that you are, taking a chance coloring everything that's going on with P. Diddy, but you're not there watching it or participating in it? Who would have that discussion with the police, the FBI, unless they absolutely had to? And I don't know if anyone would.
I'm glad that you brought up the Cassie lawsuit too, because I want to point out all roads lead back to her. And she's the one that we believe is mentioned in the federal indictment. She started this, and some of the future lawsuits that were filed after she filed last November, they even mentioned Cassie's lawsuit. Basically, Cassie gave us strength to come forward. So I think that's really important that you highlighted that aspect of it. But we know Cassie spoke with the federal investigators. I know that you mentioned we aren't sure if someone would want to speak with them as far as incriminating themselves, but do you think they could approach Jamie Foxx?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I am sure that some approaches that haven't made the news have occurred. I'm certain of that. These allegations that became the federal case didn't come out of thin air. There was speculation about Cassie for a long time. There's speculation about P. Diddy for a long time. So they didn't just come out of thin air. And the good news for the Jamie Foxxes of the world, or whoever, the J-Los and all these folks, it seemed like the federal government's, the FBI's focus was on P. Diddy. And maybe that's where the evidence took them, but it was on P. Diddy. But that doesn't mean that they didn't get pieces. They didn't reach out and get pieces from people who they think may have been in the room or may have cause to say something in order to make sure that they stay out of the news, or that they're in the news related to these things on their own terms, like, for instance, joking about it during a Netflix special. I wouldn't put it past the FBI to have had those types of discussions, but there's no reason that they would necessarily be public on someone that was cooperative.
That's the interesting side of all of this. I mean, we're paying attention to this because prior to his arrest, P. Diddy was beloved. I mean, he was a Grammy Award-winning artist. Everyone loved him. His white parties, it was great. And it's kind of a fall from grace now that we're watching it and seeing, okay, he went from mansions to MDC. But there have also been allegations about other celebrities that were involved. Some have been listed as celebrity A or B in civil lawsuits. So I think that's another reason why people are so interested in this case specifically, because there are a lot of names that we know just from reading People magazine. Do you think that there could be any defendants that are added? I know that you said P. Diddy seems to be the main target of the feds, but do you think they could look at some of the other celebrities?
I don't necessarily expect that on the criminal side. And I could be wrong and anything could happen. I don't expect that on the criminal side. On the civil side, I think it's more of a possibility because it's a good way for these particular people, these celebrity A, celebrity B, celebrity C, to keep themselves out of the news. To the extent that such things actually did occur, that they were a part of, that they participated in, et cetera, then maybe you would have that on the civil side. And I guess it would just be up to those plaintiffs to manage how they're, right now, P. Diddy seems to be the defendant. There's not a whole lot more famous defendants. The question becomes how those plaintiffs manage that, and what discussions they might be having to keep certain things from getting in the news. I mean, I don't think it's lost on whoever celebrity A or B or C might be in our mind that P. Diddy absolutely created a huge problem for himself, aside from if he did what was alleged that he had done, by not settling the case, the Cassie case, before the allegations became public. I would think that, depending on you pressing the right button, there are certain people that would know, take the message from that and say, if this has the potential to get hot on me, I'm going to write a check and I'm going to get out of Dodge and I'm going to get confidentiality and I'm not going to get talked about. Particularly if one in that category has an indication that they probably wouldn't be named criminally. Right. Then if you settle it civilly before it becomes something, then you hopefully put a lid on it and a bow, and nobody ever knows other than their idle speculation of the fact that you were at Diddy parties. Everybody in Hollywood/New York was at Diddy parties at one time or another. So in and of itself, that's not going to be a distinguishing thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of those discussions are occurring to keep those folks out of the news. With their handlers, their lawyers, etc.
Wait a minute, y'all. Hold on for a minute. Let me address the live stream. I'll be right back. 1 second. All right, I'm back, y'all. Here we go.
We have seen some reports about all of that these celebrities that right now are unnamed settled before the lawsuits could be filed, so that we weren't making a law and crime episode talking about them and name dropping them. So they're hoping to have their names completely out of the headlines. But then that begs the question, if the feds know about them and are talking to the victims that saw celebrity A, B, and C at these parties, they were doing things that were illegal, could these people be called to testify at this really public trial of P. Diddy that's happening in May?
Absolutely, they could be. But here's the good news. In federal court, you're not going to be on television. Because it's federal, there's something about being able to watch something in real time. And now people have impressions about it. People have impressions about it some other way. Now, listen, nobody wants to be in news about this thing. So if I'm Jamie Foxx or, celebrity A or celebrity B. I might have an egotistical opinion about how well my painting, my drawing was done by the court artist. But that's different than me running in real time on television, getting cross-examined, getting grilled in front of America as opposed to in front of the jury and everybody in the courtroom. So I imagine that they would be saying that, if I have to testify here and that's my reality, that's where I am. But there are some ways to get out in front of it and be out in front of it, particularly if they're one of a lot of different people. It may have the potential to lessen the blow, particularly in a situation where America's not going to have the real-time visual that it would in a state court case.
That's a good point. It'll be interesting to see what celebrities are called if Jamie Foxx is called to the stand. And I guess for now, we're just going to have to wait and see what he does say in this Netflix special that's supposed to come out. For now, thank you, Joe, for coming on with us today.
Thanks. Always a pleasure.
In terms of the Jamie Foxx allegations, Diddy's team denies having any involvement. P. Diddy also denies the other allegations brought against him, too. He's pleaded not guilty to those federal charges. Right now, Diddy's federal trial is set to begin in May of next year, and Jamie Foxx's Netflix special is set to premiere on December 10th. For Law and Crime, I'm 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗞𝗦.
Man, we about to cover all this. We are going to be covering all this right here. Yeah, most definitely. Hey, real quick, man, before y'all go, check this out. This is the video. They just sent me the video that they talking about. It's another 5 minutes, I'm thinking, and it should be planned. So let's see what this is. I never seen this yet, though. Let's check it out.
P. Diddy, why can't we get anything concrete? All we really have is the hotel hallway beat ass.
That one is in the process. At least,
I don't know.
It's gonna be, but hold months. On. He's in jail. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of lawsuits. That one is like, we're going to find out. Yeah. Jamie Foxx just recently said that P. Diddy poisoned him.
Whoa.
And that's why he got that stroke.
I've heard that.
He talked about it on stage.
He said it?
He said it.
He got poisoned?
He said it.
He goes, I didn't have a heart attack because of the vaccine. It was Diddy shutting me up.
See if we can find that, because he said it on stage.
Diddy was poisoning people,
bro.
Well, it could have been in his stand-up. They talking about he was doing a stand-up.
There was some crazy shit going on,
like Cosby shit, like drugging.
Diddy wasn't even that big.
I think
it was
murders.
Drake could do it.
There's alleged murders. A bunch of people that got pneumonia. A bunch of convenient people that died of pneumonia. Jamie Foxx addresses whether Diddy was responsible for his 2023 hospitalization while filming Netflix special. Holy shit.
Jamie Foxx has
about
a
it
Netflix
on his
special.
Netflix special.
Do they not care about at all stand-up?
Jamie Foxx is hilarious.
Audience members,
yeah,
hold on,
right,
go back.
I see him at clubs all the time, working out his bits.
What is that share?
I only respect
Look
grinders.
at this. The audience members had varying accounts of the comedian's words. Two of them claimed that Foxx said Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, that he's the one who called the FBI on Diddy, who's currently in prison awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. A source close to Diddy insisted to Daily Mail that there is no truth to Sean Combs putting Jamie Foxx in the hospital.
There's no chance it was a joke.
I mean, yeah, it was a joke, but joke based on truth or not truth?
It is possible. That's totally
I trust
possible.
the Daily Mail.
That's totally possible, but it's also possible he was explaining while he wound up going to hospital, and he hasn't talked about it since. He never talked about it. Look at this. Big homie CC, a celebrity security guard, claimed in an interview with 𝗟𝗡𝗞𝗡 News last week that Foxx was poisoned by Diddy. I know Combs poisoned Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx reported him to the FBI because of it. Jamie Foxx reported this man to the FBI because of this, he claimed. So I've seen that video where that guy's talking about how Jamie Foxx reported.
He was poisoned 3 times, I think.
Wow.
Oh, he said it as well?
He's like, why do I have cyanide in my system?
Big homie CC is getting out there, baby. He on a joke. Joe Rogan is saying Big Homie CC's name. Gone, Big CC. That's my rest in peace to my brother. His name was CC. So I immediately, that was a bias. I immediately was liking Big Homie CC just because of your name, bruh. Yeah. So I'm riding with you too, baby.
System.
Jesus Christ.
Why do I have that's a legit question. Why do I have cyanide?
Oh, so look at this.
System?
Jamie Foxx wipes away tears as he gives his artistic explanation of mystery illness.
I love tears in a comedy special.
Hold
That's
up.
how we fall into clickbait.
What is that? Artistic explanation of mystery illness.
I know. We're on a weird site, and that's how you fall into clickbait. Oh, boy.
So I don't know if it's true. We won't know until we see the actual Jamie Foxx Netflix special, which Ari has bookmarked. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
Did you see the Rosie O'Donnell like a bunch of like stuff if we're talking about it?
Yeah, she looks like Steve Bannon.
Her just making jokes over the years about Diddy and him
Exactly
going to
like Steve
jail and
Bannon.
what he's doing wrong.
Really?
It was like Cosby. It was
Rosie
like Weinstein.
O'Donnell was joking
yeah,
about
it was
it?
like they all knew about it, but you can't quite talk about it.
Meanwhile, all these
There's a
people are moving to
compilation tape.
Europe.
That's right.
How wild is that? Like Ellen just moved to England. Like, see ya.
Well, better healthcare.
I heard that once before. Ellen, where you at, man? Where you at, Ellen? Ellen done left the country. Did y'all hear that? I wonder, did y'all let me know in the comments, did y'all hear that? Not on this video. Did y'all hear that from other places?
All these
There's
people
a
are moving to
compilation tape.
Europe.
They
That's right.
How
moving
wild
to
is
Europe.
that?
They're going
Like
to the
Ellen
UK.
just moved to England. Like, see ya.
Well, better healthcare.
Is he talking about it here?
Pull it up.
This is December 10th. Only on Netflix.
Hell
too.
yeah.
Fucking
That's
Jaguar,
why I
right?
couldn't get a December date.
He's a
What
talented
happened
guy.
was.
Yeah.
Wow, it's called What Happened Was.
Ooh, that's gonna be
See,
a
what
big
had
one.
It
happened
might be like
was
a one-man show rather than stand-up.
Dude, if
then
they
I'm not
make
gonna
a
watch.
trailer like that, that's like,
What happened
and he's
was.
like, I got drugged by Puff Daddy.
Right.
So funny.
Would
Gonna
be
win a
interesting.
Grammy.
So I wake up and I'm sucking LeBron's dick, and I don't know how I got here.
LeBron.
Another guy scared of China.
LeBron.
Oh yeah.
from
Oh,
that
yeah,
70s
yeah.
show.
Although I was talking with my friends earlier. I don't think LeBron's one of the only famous guys that never got hit with a pedophile fucking accusation.
He might have
the
never
night is
fucked
young.
a child.
LeBron
As
might,
crazy as that
LeBron
is.
might be the man.
Did you ever see him
would he-
fake reading Malcolm X's book?
He does these interviews where he shows up with a book. He's in the locker room, just can't put this book down.
I defend him on that. We've all
done that.
I've read the first
We've all
chapter of
done
every
that.
book on earth.
Have stuff on our
Put it down.
bookshelf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I read that.
I went over to Callan's house once, and he had something like Catcher in the Rye sitting
Yeah.
on his coffee
book.
table. I go, you're not reading that. I go, you have that out there when girls come over. He goes, you're right. He goes, how did you know? I go, you scumbag. I go, that's like so obvious.
dork.
Who would have thought that
Pretending
guy
you
could
were
be
a
a phony?
reader.
It's also a serial killer book. Every serial
Callan was
killer.
so nutty when I first visited him. When I first started hanging out with him, he didn't have a lock on his door, and someone broke his doorknob off, and he left it off. And so, like, he didn't have anything. He had like clothes and a couple of books that he pretended to read. And a homeless lady, walked into his apartment while he was sleeping and was cooking breakfast. And he goes downstairs. He smells something cooking. He goes downstairs. There's a homeless lady in his kitchen cooking. She's like, "You got it going on, honey. Look at all the stuff you got here." And he's like, you have to leave." Like, you can't.
What?
Like, Callan was wild.
Damn.
He didn't have a doorknob. His
And she
doorknob
was
was broken
cooking?
off. There was a hole in the doorknob area where you could just push open the door. So he would just shut that door and go to sleep in Venice.
Damn.
In
Yeah,
Venice.
it's a big story.
I was like,
Like,
dude, you're going to die.
He's got to be careful because squatters, they're hard to get rid of.
Well, back then there was no squatters. There was none of that back then.
That's
I don't know
crazy.
when all that shit started happening, when people decided they could move into people's houses, but it wasn't a common
Israel.
thing back then.
They have laws. You can't get rid of those people.
I know, it's crazy.
Excuse me. Shoot. Let them squat over here. I get rid of them. Shoot. When I use the bathroom, I like to use the bathroom in any bed that's in my house. So if the squatter is in that bed and I'm over there, yeah, you ain't gonna want to squat over me, baby. 'Cause I got some nasty, ugly stuff that I do, and I video it. Anyway, man, I know y'all think I'm crazy. But on a serious note, man, back to serious reality, man. Puffy, if you had anything to do with Jamie Foxx, big homie CC said he had pneumonia a couple of times. I got another buddy of mine that I was trying to bring on that rest in peace to Chucky Thompson, was in my area. I did a little work with Bad Boy. Chucky Thompson he produced a lot of stuff for Mary J. Blige, man. If y'all listen to I remember the way I don't that's the sample. That's the only thing I remember. That sample. I said, that's tight the way you did that. But Chucky Thompson was the producer that did a lot of work with Mary J. I don't know, first, second, or third album or something. One of the better albums, and he died of pneumonia. And we didn't know because he wasn't that big. He wasn't, talked about like all these other people, right? But we are finding out that his peoples that's in my clique, so to speak, right, is saying that, Chucky Thompson passed away, and Chucky Thompson passed away of pneumonia. And I said, what? I didn't know that. I barely knew the dude. I talked to him because I was running sound for a lot of bands that Chucky Thompson was playing percussion and stuff with, and he wanted me to hook up with him. I ain't want to hook up with him. I just wanted to run the sound, right? I ain't want to hook up with him to produce music and everything because I wasn't believing him. I wish I did because he went, and well, I'm glad I didn't probably because I would have probably had pneumonia too. But anyway, people was telling me that. Hold on, man. No. Maybe my nephew or somebody here. Wait a minute, somebody coming in. I ain't expecting nobody. Anyway, sorry about that, y'all. But long story short, I got a couple of people that's gonna come on, and so we can get to the bottom of that type of story and everything. But anyway, now that somebody done came in. I got so many people here. I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out, man.